There's never been a better time to get outside and experience the benefits of nature. Discover nearby trails and explore the outdoors with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your outside.
Hello, passengers, and welcome aboard the TV Pilot's License with service to Resident Alien and Patience, Colorado. We ask that you please fasten your headphones, secure your podcasting device, and remember that if your neighbor looks like an alien and is also acting like an alien, but no one else seems to notice, they aren't the weird ones, you are. So deal with it and sit down and shut up.
Welcome to the TV Pilot's License. My name is Geoff Kerbis, joined by Rich Inman and Max Singer. Boys, how you doing today?
An alien who just wants to find where the good pizza places are. My kind of man.
You're thinking of Italians. And Jeff, I'm actually doing really good. You know, there's been a lot of talk about seeing yourself portrayed in media, and boy, did I feel it today.
Well, gentlemen, this week we are going to be talking about Sci-Fi and USA Network's Resident Alien. We'll get into that a little bit later, but before we dive too deep into this show, if you want to watch it today, you can see it on Netflix. But Max, can you tell folks a little bit more about what this podcast is all about?
Here at TV Pilot's License, we break down and analyze the pilot episodes of some of TV's most famous, or in some cases, infamous shows. We learn more about how these shows came to be and were originally made, if they're effective pilot episodes and making us want to watch more, if they can be made today. Go back and stream our old episodes from wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok to see our smiling faces. And if it is your first time flying with us, then welcome aboard.
So, gentlemen, before we go to sponsor, a quick question for the two of you, which is, this is our first sci-fi show. We've never done one before on this podcast.
It's a network, not the genre. I saw that look, Rich.
Yeah, no, Rich was doing the math really quickly, and he was like, wait a minute.
That ain't right.
We've done Alan Tudyk shows that are sci-fi, so that can't be true. But I'm curious, how much sci-fi channel viewing have you done prior to this show?
Thanks for asking. Next question.
I personally did not know this was a channel on cable. So, also, next question.
Yeah, I'm really glad I found it on Peacock because I wouldn't have found it on cable.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess, of course, I am the only one who has watched stuff on the Sci-Fi Channel. So, you know what? If you have sci-fi
do you have a
shows,
favorite from that show?
Actually,
from that channel?
Yes, I do. It is. It's called The Magicians, and we'll definitely do it on this podcast eventually. But let me pitch you The Magicians really quickly. Imagine if Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia had a baby, but it was for people that were 18 years old plus, and there was a lot of drugs taken in it and a shitload of murder.
Okay. What part of this is the sci-fi element? Like, if are they actual magicians? Is this like
yes? There is a school for magicians. There's the school for those who are magically adept in this entire thing, and it's bonkers, but it is so good. And there is truly a very loyal fan base to the show. It had a really good multi-season run, and then it got weird at the end, as most of these shows do. But then it ended in pretty nicely, and I believe that it's on Netflix too. But we'll eventually do that. So I don't want you to watching it. Don't watch it yet. We're gonna watch it, and I want all the commentary saved for that podcast.
Jeff, I'm so excited for when we do that show, so you can pen and tell them all about it.
Oh my gosh! Well, before we dive too deeply into this sci-fi show of Resident Alien, a quick word from our sponsors.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with All Trails.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Resident Alien and visit Patience, Colorado, with a quick synopsis. A crash-landed alien takes on the identity of a small-town Colorado doctor and slowly begins to wrestle with the moral dilemma of his secret mission on Earth, which absolutely what we watched. I think that is spot on as far as the synopsis goes. But Max, can you tell us a little bit more about how this show got made?
Today, we'll be talking about the pilot episode of Resident Alien, which originally aired on January 27th, 2021 on Sci-Fi, and the show's creator, Chris Sheridan, a bit more. After spending time as a writer's assistant, Sheridan is promoted to staff writer while working on Living Single in the 90s. After the show's cancellation, Sheridan is looking for his next opportunity. His agent informs him the only comedy with openings in their room is an animated sitcom being developed at Fox. Sheridan goes on to become one of the original Family Guy writers, and after its cancellation, spends time on the sitcoms Titus and Yes Dear. When Family Guy is revived at Fox, Sheridan rejoins the staff, even earning an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Music and Lyrics. In 2011, Sheridan develops the pilot Love Lines at NBC, although it was not picked up to series. In 2012, the first Resident Alien comics are published by Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse. Each installment was a mini-series of 4 to 6 issues following an alien taking the human alias of Harry Vanderspiegel, a retired doctor who uses his secret mental abilities and love for pulp detective novels to solve crimes in the small town of Patience, Washington. Notice there's a couple changes there from comics to TV series.
Well, it's a little bit cheaper to film in Colorado, so that's why they had to do it.
And I mean, if this is NBC Universal, you have the rights to Law and Order already. It's a done deal. According,
God damn it.
According to
all right, I'm out again.
I've got more facts. According to Hogan and Parkhouse, interest in developing the comics to series first began in 2013. In 2018, it is announced that Sci-Fi was officially developing the TV version with Sheridan at the helm. In September of that year, Alan Tudyk was cast in the lead role, and a pilot was filmed in Vancouver in February of 2019. The show has picked up the series order, with principal photography taking place starting in September 2020 across British Columbia. Today's pilot is directed by David Dobkin, best known for directing the films Shanghai Nights, Wedding Crashers, Fred Claus, and Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga.
Okay, so really quick. They filmed it in British Columbia, yet decided to move it away from Seattle. That's what I'm decided to move it away from Washington. That's what I'm hearing.
Colorado looks more like BC than Seattle.
God damn it. Okay.
Yeah, who knows why they moved it, but let's talk a little bit about this show, and let's talk about the cold open. And not only are we setting up the idea of, hey, there's a narration. Max, once again, we're on a streak. There's 2 streaks that we have going on right now, Rich, which is, 1, we're back in Colorado. After being in Everwood, Colorado, we're now in Patience, another small town. So very exciting. Right. Second is that we are starting off a show with a narration. And we're setting up the idea of this man in this town in Colorado with the sudden reveal that even though the cops are coming up and this man seems to just be fishing on a lake, it's no man. It's an alien. And I mean, are you guys shocked? Are you guys stunned? Did the title not give it away that there might be an alien in this show?
Who is a resident of the town?
Yeah, I actually really loved the spin reveal of the alien on the boat, or like Alan Tudyk as an alien on the boat. Boy, we're gonna not be able to stop talking about this, but the sheriff character is they make such a bizarre choice with this person, and I don't know, they really make it feel like a crime western. Like it's almost like a Landman kind of situation. Like with the way that character acts. And,
you're talking about Broadway legend Corey Reynolds?
Yes, I am. I am, in fact. And I really do like the cold open. It just feels like it's 2 different shows at the same time.
It does very much feel, Corey Reynolds' performance, as if it's a caricature of sorts, right? Of like, all right, small town sheriff, go. And he was like, I got this. 100%. Right. But I do like that.
But they didn't ask him where. Small town where.
But I do like, just like as we're in this open, while we have this big bombastic personality of Corey Reynolds, and Big Black is the character that he's portraying, which is, I love the jokes they sprinkle in throughout that of people just being like, no, I will never call you that.
I'm not calling you that.
I like the opposite of this personality of Liv as his deputy that is following him around and like almost seems like the brains of this operation, but very much will never get a single day's credit. I mean, Max, what are your thoughts on this cold open? Does it give you any form of intrigue?
It definitely feels comic booky, knowing the origins of this show in general. The sheriff of Big Black, Deputy Liv, they feel like these archetypes of the very silly sheriff's deputy and the real serious, as you say, kind of like gunslinger, Western man in black rich. I'm relieved that they get the first twist out of the way in the cold open. That knowing seconds in that Alan Tudyk is an alien is just such a, like, all right, this is off the table and we could just get into it. It's not that thing of a version of this show where we tease that something is off about this person, but we don't know what it is. And then in the third act, we get the big reveal of he's an alien. You do it instantly. It's a very funny pan, that turnaround shot. I also really like the exclaimer of how cold it is by saying 4 sodas exploded in my trunk. It's just such a little line. It doesn't really add anything, but it's like just a fun little garnish on top of it all. It's a nice descriptor, I think.
Well, not only is Why Is Today different, that hey, there's an alien in Patience, Colorado that is cosplaying as a human being, and we'll find out a little bit more about how that happened, but there's been a murder, gentlemen. There is a dead doctor in the town, and they need to find any doctor that is around to at least do some form of an autopsy on it. And Rich, you're cracking up on me. So
it's just so funny that, like, not only is there an alien that crash landed to Earth and embodied one of the town's residents, there's also been a murder. It's
most foul.
It's just so goddamn funny, and we didn't even touch on the scene of him learning English strictly through Law and Order.
Well, I was going to bring it up. We do get, I will say, because as you two have sort of nodded to, you don't have much familiarity with the Sci-Fi Network, which is absolutely fine. And I want to bring up the idea of, hey, Sci-Fi there's a couple of things that Sci-Fi likes to do. One is practical makeup and effects, and also mixing in where they can the use of CGI, because sometimes some things are a little bit too big, such as how big Harry the alien is supposed to be in this show. So what did you think of seeing the mix of CGI, practical, and Harry being introduced in alien form?
As far as, limited budget cable series goes, it's used just enough where it doesn't play too big of a part or becomes distracting. I think that where they do have CGI effects, it's fun enough. It's not like when you're watching an HBO show and there's bad CGI and you're like, oh man, like that's noticeable. I kind of have a certain degree of expectation with a Sci-Fi original that was met. I do enjoy this whole sequence of landing on Earth, yeeting a human out of a window to the frozen lake below, and then learning to be human. And I think this plays on something that is very relatable. It's like the stories of how people learn English from sitcoms and things like that, where you draw your kind of like American behavior from, and seeing this whole sequence of Harry learning to be human through syndicated Law and Order reruns, Googling pizza places, like learning how to adapt is quite amusing. And Alan Cumming is a very strong character. Alan Tudyk is a very strong. They're both very strong character
great,
actors.
But Alan Tudyk is great in this.
The physicality that Tudyk brings to learning to be human is very fun, and seeing how this changes throughout the episode is a nice little touch. Like as he becomes more ingrained in the town, seeing his mannerisms and physicality change. It's a really strong physical acting performance.
There's something about, like, and I felt this a lot too, seeing Project Hail Mary, of like the amount that's funny and trying to find what's like extrapolating a very human existence from like one very small behavior or something like that. And I guess it's also kind of like a Mork and Mindy type situation of just like, okay, this one small trait belongs to one human being. Clearly, they're all like this, and that is very like I do really enjoy his choices there. Like you said, Max, the physical acting of that, even just in his face, is perfect.
Well, I'm going to add in another "Why is today different," gentlemen. We already have two, but I'm going to add a third, which is today is Alan's big test of being an alien impersonating a human amongst a lot of people, amongst human beings for the first time. Mm-hmm. And it brings a question that comes to mind for me, which is, what do you think in general, just the entire episode of this performance of playing a human being played by an alien who is learned via just the limited nature of law and order and what resources he has around him? Because that is the ongoing joke of this episode and the premise that we have to buy into if we're going to even decide next episode on Netflix.
So I think that this journey of discovery he goes on, it is entertaining to watch. I'm thinking about in this whole first sequence where we're doing the preliminary autopsy, we're seeing the body, and the jokes of just the rug pull of addressing the napping nurse and introing her that way as the dead body. I thought that was delightful. The way he gets up and down from the floor, there's like something about the way that he like uses his knees to get up and down that's very entertaining. It's very like non-human and
like a newborn calf.
Yeah, and like the reaction to just like colloquialisms and turns of phrases that he doesn't understand is always entertaining. And I think that this entire show hinges on whether or not you are charmed by or annoyed by this performance, because it is going to be the same type of joke repetitively. It's going to be thing that seems very simple and clear to you and I that is very confusing to this person, and how do they react to that? And Tudyk does handle it, I think, with a real like grace throughout.
Rich, what about you? Max waxed poetically. Do you have any additions to that?
You know what? You can tell that the way they set up this show and how they're going to just like allow him to advance, like it is kind of like a writer's trick of like, oh, this person that you have right here is superiorly, that's not a word, is beyond intellectual, like beyond the capabilities of a human intelligence. And
sure.
This is kind of like how you see it with House or with other like type of, medical procedurals that involve like a Sherlock Holmesian type presence. And it is a little bit of a cop out that like, okay, well, he's going to keep advancing this. This is pretty good for just 4 months worth of watching Law and Order. He's only going to get better at this. So you do get like a reasoning behind why it's okay that he's like not particularly behaving correctly, and how, but I don't know how the rest of the townspeople don't have significantly more red flags coming up about this.
Well, because it's his first time ever going into town, so like no one's ever interacted with him before.
Yeah, they've interacted with human beings before.
Well, I do want to add just one note. I do love the choice that was made as far as Harry's like dialect and how he speaks, if that makes sense. Like Max, you mentioned it a little bit, but it does have like a Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek quality to it, where like I think many people could try to imitate this and try to like take the dialect and the vocal patterns, but it's so uniquely alien, and I'm very intentional with that word, that it's like, yeah, I truly think that is how, if an alien was trying to learn based off of just television alone and very limited human interaction, that is what we're getting. But gentlemen, we do have the murder mystery element to this show.
That's right.
We do have an autopsy and also handling a brain by hands, which I knew Rich was fully invested in. His eyes were glued to that screen.
Yeah, they sure were. Why don't you tell him all about it, Geoff?
Well,
I totally didn't skip ahead 2 minutes.
Well, as much as I thought it was very fun adding this element and adding the idea of this is what he's going to be doing, I want to skip a little bit to another twist that we have revealed to us, which is, although Harry presents himself as human to everyone, there's one person in town who knows that Harry is not an alien. And Max, what did you think of having a child be the only person in town that knows that Harry might not be who he presents himself as?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I start to get a little bit lost with the logic and reasoning of there's a genome that 1 in 1,000 humans possess that allow you to see through their disguises. I also think that where this show for me does start to struggle is it's a lot of hat on a hat in terms of what we're introducing as like the new thing today.
Sure.
The why
The
is
rules.
today different, the rules of it, what we're exploring, because it's a pretty dense 40 some odd minutes. I do think that giving Harry an op in the form of a 10-year-old child is amusing. And that there's going to be somewhat of like a cat and mouse game between them, I'm assuming. But for me, it's the extra storyline that I'm like, I wonder if we could have held on this or made this like a third button reveal versus introing it so early on that we're gonna have to spend a lot of time with it.
This almost feels like an end of season reveal kind of situation, because that once you're like, when you start establishing like, Alan Tudyk's going to go throughout this entire season of like becoming more human, drawing more people in his favor, like in this town and stuff like that, helping them with their medical stuff. Then at the end, someone can be revealed that they can see him. They can see him in his true form. That's fine. 1 in 1,000 is a lot of people.
There are already conflicts. We're trying to solve a murder mystery, and then you also have this kind of like man versus self of Alan Tudyk trying to hide his identity from people, as well as another reveal we'll get to of why this alien ship was on Earth in the first place. And so now we're dealing with 4 conflicts introduced in 1 TV hour, and that's just a lot to take in from the jump.
The reason you space those out is because you want to be able to have like cohesive storylines or like watch those things play out in general. But it's like when you have that many things, it almost feels like it's kind of like an episode of 24 where it's just like, yeah, there's a terrorist attack in Dallas. Oh no, but also the president's missing and they're unrelated. Like it's just shit like that. And it just feels, I totally hear what you're saying, Max. Like the hat on a hat of it all is like a little bit too much to introduce into a pilot.
Quick, tiny fact check that I'm just going to add in. It is 1 in 1 million people that have the gene that the show presents. So a little bit more.
So 13 people in Los Angeles can see this alien for what it is.
Only 13, and they're oh god,
you can't. This guy cannot leave Patience, Colorado.
Yeah, he absolutely can. So we could go point by point, but Max, I'm just looking at your notes, and you say, all right, we need to talk about the bar scene, and there is a big bar scene that is revealed. That we, after the autopsy, after telling the doctor's wife that the doctor has been murdered, and it seems like less than a polite way. What caught your eye in this bar scene, the 59?
I mean, listen, we could talk about the humor in an alien learning to shoot whiskey with humans for the first time. Yes. Sure. We could talk about the neat little camera trick of drunk Harry on the dance floor, and the camera pans around and passes by a mirror, and it's him as an alien, and then it passes back to him as human Alan Tudyk. We could talk about those things, but I need to get an early wait-a-minute moment in here and talk about the absolute absurdity that they would pick Starships by Nicki Minaj as the song that is blasting in this dive bar in Patience, Colorado. And not that it's just a music drop, not that it's a needle drop that they put in that we're setting this to.
No, they're lip syncing to it.
That they are lip syncing to it. And they are fake playing keyboards to. That someone, listen, you do not touch the touch tunes in the 59 bar in Patience, Colorado. You absolutely do not. There's not
a lot of barbs in there. A lot of barbs.
There's no barbs in this dive bar in Patience, Colorado.
Wait, okay. I mean, I do see the relevance of the Starships element of this song choice.
Yeah.
But it is insane how much money they had to spend to do this. Because, like, to have them all lip syncing to it, too, means that there was no second choice song. This was it.
No, this was the song. But I guess I have to ask, Max, you think this song is absurd? That must mean you have a replacement song that you would like to see them all lip syncing to.
Yep.
So I'm putting you on the spot, baby. What's the replacement song that you're telling them to go after?
You know what? I was so in disbelief that I didn't even cross my mind that it was a play on starships and him coming from outer space.
Oh yeah.
You know what? We're gonna put on Jefferson Starship. We're gonna put on Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Fantastic.
I'd be down with that. Rich, do you have one?
I was thinking about Friends in Low Places if we're talking about like a good rural dive bar.
Garth is not licensing that out.
Yeah, no. Garth is going to tell you to fuck yourself.
Well, wait,
to him with that.
Can we talk about the other major needle drop in this show too?
Yeah,
then?
we absolutely can.
Okay, so the flashback of Alan Tudyk essentially embodying this person, and or like the alien embodying Alan Tudyk. They drop "Feeling All Right," Joe Cocker's cover of the Traffic song, and specifically in the very last verse, which is "Till someone comes along and takes my place with a different name and a different face." And I'm like, oh shit, this is like so on the nose. This and Starships were both extremely on the nose for this, and I thought it can't be. I don't know how much the Joe Cocker estate made off of this. I don't know how much Nicki Minaj made off of all this, but it had to have been a lot. This is an expensive ass pilot. This is like, they did not pull punches on this.
Well, yeah, even just looking at the idea of who you have starring in it and who you have choosing to write it as their project, it seems like NBC Universal was really believing in this, but was like, hey, this has to go to Sci-Fi because we have no other place to put this.
Yeah.
But Max, you seem to have a counter.
Listen, 90% of Alan Tudyk's IMDb is voiceover roles. Like, I'm sure he was glad that he didn't have to be the chicken from Moana again and got to actually be live on camera.
Oh no, he bought an 18th house because of the chicken from Moana. Oh no. Do you know on the list of like highest grossing actors, like the people that have like been in the movies with the most total overall gross, he's number 3.
Well, yeah, because he's in like all 3. Of these. He's in all of these Star Wars projects now.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Robots and droids and things like that.
But
he's
also,
in Zootopia.
Also, like, I don't know, man. That guy's got a fucking great agent.
You know how much money Zootopia's bringing in?
I couldn't tell you.
I do have questions about, like, let's just imagine. Let's go back in time, and Alan is sitting at Juilliard. He's in a movement class or something like that.
Sure.
And he's just like, one day I'm going to be the chicken in Moana and also an alien on the Sci-Fi program, and to boot, the 3rd highest grossing actor of all time. Like, that's an insane concept.
I'm going to tell my younger brother Rich all about it at the family reunion.
Exactly. There's going to be a boy named Rich Inman, and he's going to look just like me. And
that's right.
That's all part of it.
I don't know how to feel that the person who looks the most likely strictly does voiceover work.
I mean, he's also in A Knight's Tale. He's in A Knight's Tale.
Sure, that does feel like a very face for radio type thing.
Hey, you look like that voiceover artist.
That sucks.
I mean,
Mel Blanc.
To get us back on track a little bit, there are a couple of other big moments in this pilot, we do get the idea of Harry and Asta. That seems to be the big relationship that we're trying to build for Harry, the partner who's going to help him solve these crimes in this pilot. And we see a couple of things happen, but I'm curious for the two of you, what do you think of the chemistry between these two as a believable partnership? Or maybe you're longing for a little bit more?
Oh, none. He's an alien. He's not a. I don't think she has any attraction for him. I don't think this is not like a Mulder and Scully shipping thing.
I'm not saying this as a relationship. I'm saying more so as like, hey, if you are a detective of any sort, you normally have a partner who you are working with to solve crimes. Do you get any form of that chemistry between them, even a friendship chemistry between the two of them?
I think at the very least, they're trying to establish that he is not a constant threat to her in his like alien evolution, basically. And it's going to kind of only set up the fact that he's kind of okay with some of the humans there. This is a town with clearly a lot of issues and a lot of like dangerous people and I don't know, abuse and like weird goings on. This is basically just they're nudging him toward I can't destroy this planet. There's not to break our final reveal too early, but he's basically like, okay, all I need is the trust of like a couple human beings to vouch for me, and then I'm good.
I did appreciate the montage of Harry and Asta doing the autopsy together, which is very much that was good. Harry learns how to like be more human and how to be kind of like sympathetic and learning human connection through this. And you need that. You need to see him learn how to actually be human and not just recite things from Law and Order. And so I do think that's an essential scene. And then it does kind of pay off in him trying to murder her ex-boyfriend with his bare hands and understanding that, yeah, kind of like you said, there are people that Harry finds deep consideration for.
Right.
And despite not fully knowing what it means to be human, there are people that he will defend and wants to feel safe and can try to protect from someone that he deems a threat and a predator. It's just that he doesn't know how to do it in a way that humans would. He tries to, pop the eyeballs out kind of thing.
They do kind of lean a little bit on his like self-narration in certain scenes, but it's very sparse. So I don't really know like why some scenes get a self-narration and some scenes don't. Like there's like the internal dialogue of like whether or not he's going to go back and help Asta from her abusive ex-boyfriend.
I would say that most likely where that came from was the comic books, right? Because there are you get those, not that I've read these comic books in this instance, but I do think there is that like comic books often use the bubbles to be able to
first person narration
in a scene or give that POV or that narration for stuff that you can't just see on the page. Or
that's a good point.
So it is a nice technique of that, but also it is the idea of, we are trying to see someone go through life in an alien world, and there are going to be that thought to yourself when you are the only one of your kind.
And also, Rich, you need to remember that when you're talking out loud to yourself, when you have this narration, it's because you're writing a column for a newspaper in New York City about your sex life and dating, as we all know.
Well, Rich, you did allude to it. There's one more reveal. There's one more hat that we have to talk about. And it is the hat of that Harry didn't just crash land onto this planet. Because, hey, an engine failed. He crash landed because he was trying to destroy the planet in its entirety. And that is where we are very much left on, is that Harry does plan to fulfill this mission that he set out on by finding the pieces he needs and completing that. What do you think about that as this almost the button, but then seeing that Harry is going to continue to be the town doctor regardless of his intent of destroying the planet.
Destroying the world plots are so contrite. I'm so over them. It's so boring when people want to blow up the Earth. I get so annoyed when that's the entire motivation in a superhero movie, that they just want to blow up the Earth.
So Max will not be doing any more sci-fi shows, Jeff. Yeah, this was like, because they keep talking about the mission. Here he keeps talking about the mission as like and whenever he does the first person narration again, like he kind of just brings it back to the mission and stuff like that. You can really get lost in him living in that particular moment and forget that he's there for a reason. But also, like, they don't really explain why he wants to do that. That it's not like it didn't feel like that much of a threat to their alien race or anything like that. It was just kind of like, what happens if we, it's very like a kid like trying to burn an anthill. It's like, what happens if we kill all of them with the sun? I don't know.
But I do think the motivations have to be kind of thin, because we're kind of building towards, and I think you alluded to it earlier, Rich, that at some point Harry's going to realize that he has learned to be more human than alien. He has learned to find appreciation for these people. This is his family. It'll probably give us reason to bring in some cool aliens in future seasons and to start to have him have this crisis of consciousness. But you have to establish that there's a reason why it's here, although it is a pretty thinly veiled motivation, I think.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is like pretty close to the plot of Steven Universe, the cartoon.
Oh, really?
I've never seen Steven Universe.
Okay, so Steven Universe is, and I'm not all the way through it yet, but Steven Universe is essentially like there's this warring faction of gems, which are like an alien race, and then 4 of them end up on Earth with the intent to destroy it or use it as a place to repopulate their people, and then essentially are convinced by the human race there to save it from being destroyed. So it's relatively the same.
Interesting. Well, maybe we'll do it on
Fewer
the show,
song.
and then we'll refer to it as the Resident Alien cartoon. But that is the pilot that we watched, gentlemen, and I'm curious. We didn't talk about every part of this pilot. There are definitely scenes
we couldn't possibly.
There are definitely scenes that we left out, but are there any things that you loved about this pilot that maybe you want to give a little bit more shine? Rich, I'll start off with you.
Oh, yeah. The Three Stooges sound that he makes when he takes a shot of whiskey of just like that fucking thing. I almost wanted to make that my text ringtone. It's fucking insane. Okay, so I have 2 things. So number 1 is that Three Stooges sound. And then the second is Alan Tudyk's like facial and physical acting choices that he makes. This was like, for as odd of a show as this is, the being an alien pretending or learning how to be a human thing is like really difficult to portray in like a convincing manner, I would say. And he has to do it the entire pilot, likely the entire first season, probably even for future seasons and stuff like that. He does a fantastic job of it. It is, and I'm going to give him a huge hug at Thanksgiving and tell him like, I'm sorry it took me so long to watch this.
Max, what about yourself?
I am going to give it to the POV flip late in this pilot where we see the same night 4 months ago, but from Asta's perspective. It's the moment in this pilot where we stop talking about the alien of it all, and we kind of rest that for a little bit, and we expand the universe, we expand the story, we get someone else's perspective on it, and we just see what else has been happening the last 4 months for people. And I think that it's just it's a nice little touch, and it's a nice little rest to the game, so it's not just 40 some odd minutes of Alan Tudyk being an alien in a skin suit.
For sure.
Yeah, for myself, for a show that very obviously was like, all right, we have a limited budget, we're going to give most of the money to Alan Tudyk, Then we're going to have some money for special effects and practical makeup and effects.
And the rest goes to Nicki Minaj.
And then the rest goes to British Columbia. I really enjoyed the performances of Corey Reynolds and Levy Feeler, who plays the mayor in the town. I thought they were nice accompanying performances in this show that helped to fill out the cast a little bit. Because as you two are unfamiliar, Sci-Fi has this thing where they either get a lot of meh or they get one great and then it's bad. And this show found a nice, even middle ground, which I congratulate them on. And hey, project management and budgeting is a hard thing to do. But you two already hit on two of my favorite parts of the show. I think Alan Tudyk is absolutely just this show. This pilot is make or break on the performance of Alan Tudyk, and all of the little gems that he gives you throughout really make it a fun performance to watch. Let's talk about wait a minute moments.
Move on.
Things that cause you pause. And Rich, I'm going to make you go last. But Max,
you son of a bitch.
Max, you get to go first.
I'm having deja vu. I feel like I did this exact same wait a minute moment less than a month ago. Why is there so much beatboxing in this pilot? Again, another comedy series with a seemingly never-ending beatboxing scene. Why is this happening?
The Amazing Grace beatboxing that happened in a police car?
Listen, I will always have a level of appreciation for Corey Reynolds as the original Seaweed from Hairspray, but I was so put off by how much beatboxing there was and why we felt the name for that scene to go on for minutes. It felt like
it did almost the whole song.
This pilot is perhaps I'm gonna say it's 47 minutes. I'm looking at it right now. It's a 47-minute run.
Minutes of it was
beatboxing.
Well, Max, you're gonna feel really silly when that character dies and they do beatboxing when they all beatbox Amazing Grace at his funeral.
What I am going to say, Max, is that you have complained in the past when they have Broadway stars on TV shows and they don't let them sing or they don't let them hum or anything, and you got it, and now you're complaining and you look like a fool.
No. I say nay. I do not have egg on my face. If he wanted to do a little dance or if he wanted to sing, I would have been happy, but beatboxing is the lowest form of musical art.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, I didn't say it, Max did. I can't wait for
Go cast Alan Tudyk as another chicken, Lynn.
Justin Timberlake, come on the pod and defend yourself.
Oh my gosh. For myself, I'm going to really quickly just say that the concept that 59 people died for one person had me sitting there being like, we couldn't have sent one person in there to save one person or maybe two people to save one person.
I don't think that's the one, Jeff. I don't think that's the one in the equation. I think they maybe saved the town.
No, they literally, the story was 59 people went in to save one person and they all died. Like, that's what they explained in that bar scene, and that's why the bar is called the 59.
That's what they alluded to. That's what they alluded to. Okay.
That right there, we're going back to my project management theory. Let's get a project manager on scene. Say, hey, you know what? One person stuck in there. We're going to send 2 people, and if 3 people die, it's a lot worse, but it's a lot better than if 59 people die. Rich, it's your turn.
All right.
Go for it.
I got 2 things, and I will skip past the beatboxing. This sheriff,
things.
Corey Reynolds is playing a character from an entirely different TV show. It is fucking insane how crazy that one character is. And it's not even like a look over here, sleight of hand kind of thing. It is this character is going to remain in the show. I have no idea what to do when there's an alien who's also a doctor, and there's a sheriff who's like, you feel that tightness down in your taint, like he's the drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket. Like, it is truly fucking insane what he is doing. And it really almost takes me out of it. But the premise of the show is so insane that I can't help. I can't get distracted from it enough. Number 2, Shape-shifting has never been talked about at all the rest of the pilot. At some point, they have revealed that Alan Tudyk's real body is in the lake somewhere, and that this alien is just shape-shifting as this person. Never brought up at all the rest of the pilot. I don't know if it'll be brought up the rest of the show. Sure it will. But it's never used as a plot device at any other point in this pilot. And that just kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Well, gentlemen, we have one more question.
I kept it tame.
You did keep it tame, and I'm proud of you.
I kept it tame. My network notes were few, but in bold.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jeff's making fun of a real-life mine explosion from the 1800s.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, that soccer team almost didn't make it out.
Oh my God, that is not from the 1800s. We do have one more question, gentlemen. This is an in-flight question. Our in-flight question this week came from Instagram from Champerific, and they asked, are you more of a Mulder or a Scully? Is the truth out there? So, gentlemen, I'm going to put it plainly for you. Do you believe that there is extraterrestrial life, or are you in a bit of denial? You've seen the videos and you're like, oh, that can be made by AI or CGI or the Sci-Fi network. So I'm curious for you too.
Because they spent all their money on Nicki Minaj.
Rich, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I would say there's almost 100% there's extraterrestrial life, but with the vastness of space, we will never come in contact with it. It may have come and gone before the human race came around. They might never be able to have a communication range far enough for us to even reach them or be reached by them before human beings go extinct. And yeah, that's basically it. My dad is a chemist by trade, and I do remember asking him at one point, do you think there's a possibility of alien life? And he's like, well, there's nothing saying that they have to be carbon based. And I'm like, fuck that. Just say yes. Because I don't know what that means.
What's the funniest element for them to be made out of? They're helium based and they just talk in really high voices.
Your dad would have loved.
Can you hear this?
He would have loved the college class that I got tricked into taking. That was like the search for life in the universe.
Christ.
Day one, we watched Avatar. I'm like, hell yeah, we're gonna find some aliens. We're gonna watch Avatar. This class rules. Day two, it's like molecular structure of what defines life. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. There's no reason that they have to breathe or be not like it go through them. Like it's like that sucks.
It's our dumb brains being like, well, anything that's alien has to sort of like somehow be anthropomorphic, right? And we do that with like the robot, with like when they're making robots to do human tasks and stuff like that. They're like, oh, it looks like a human. And it's like, no, that's not efficient. It has to have like 10 arms and like a supercomputer in it.
It could look like a golden retriever made out of gas. Like that's what alien life could be.
Yeah, we made a flat screen TV play Jeopardy. Like,
Max, what about you?
I mean, to put it into X-Files terms, I'm probably more of a Data Scully. I would say that I'm approaching it from a more skeptical point of view, but can be compelled with solid logic and reasoning.
Yeah,
right.
For
That's
myself.
Also, I look great as a blonde.
Yeah. I can't wait for our phosphorus-based life forms to come onto the planet.
Oh, the funniest thing would be neon if they were made of neon.
Yeah, they're just made of neon. They're just neon, and that's why we can't get a good photo of them. Is the funniest version of this.
Oh my God.
But I fully embrace them, and I respect them and their autonomy. But you know what? Thank you so much for that in-flight question. If you have an in-flight question that you'd like to submit to the podcast, you can submit those at tvpilotslicense.com. We also put out a call on our Instagram every single week, and you can leave us a text or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 213-290-1713. Before we talk about the history of the show, a quick word from our sponsors one last time.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with All Trails.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the history of Resident Alien. This show has 4 seasons and 44 episodes. 3 of those seasons were primarily just on the Sci-Fi Network, but then in a call to try to drum up a little bit more interest and also knowing that there was a reduction in budget, they had the 4th season on USA Network. And a lot of the reasoning behind that was because this show found a second life on Netflix. There were a lot of people who, like the two of you, did not know there was a Sci-Fi Network and decided to watch it on Netflix and really fell in love with it. So that was what gave it the ability to have that 4th season. As far as viewership, we're talking about cable here. The show peaked at around 1.1 million for that first season. I couldn't find much viewership for the 2nd and 3rd, but the 4th, based off of what I was finding, was like about 500,000 divided across
1.1 million
USA
sounds
and
pretty
Sci-Fi.
solid.
Yeah. It dropped below that before it went to USA Network. It was around like 200,000 in that instance. But this show also had life on streamers and all of those fun things. So food for thought to consider there. This show was also seen in Canada on CTV Sci-Fi. They have Canada TV has its own Sci-Fi channel as well. I learned that today. And then
everything's in meters. That's the difference in the science.
Sky One in the UK. As far as awards, and let's talk about awards, 16 nominations and 4 wins. That includes a win for the Hollywood Critics Association, a Leo Award, and a few Young Artists Award for the show. But that is the history of this show. It did end on just a word and a note. I found an interview from Chris Sheridan where it basically said that they did plan for the 4th season to be the last one. It was just going into it with a much more reduced budget than they had hoped for, which everyone hopes for more dollars than they're given. But yeah, glad that they got to at least end the show not on a cliffhanger, but on some form of their own destiny.
Right on. Okay.
Rich, it is time for your game of the week.
All right, since this is arguably one of the weirdest medical procedural shows I've ever seen in my entire life, let's talk about
Wait
some
till
other.
We do the Good Doctor, and
let's play a little game of Spot the Fake. So I'm going to give you 2 different rounds of this, and I'm going to read some descriptions of medical procedurals, and you just have to spot the fake. All right, first round is 3 different ones. First one. A rich surgeon from Beverly Hills leaves her glitzy life to handle Rhode Island's toughest medical cases. The second one is, even the toughest among us need medical care, but when you're in a motorcycle gang or underground fighting circuit, the injuries you suffer cannot be handled in public. This secretive doctor handles the underworld's toughest medical cases. Third one. The year is 2249, and this medical procedural takes place in a hospital space station using the help of space-age technology and a computer called Hippocrates that they handle space's toughest medical cases.
I'm going to say the first one. I'm going to say the simple one is the fake.
I'm going to say the second one is the fake, but now it makes me think like there definitely needs to be a show about the vet that does like all the medical procedures for the mafia. 100%. I would watch every single episode.
I have a great news for you, Jeff. That is a real show. But okay, so the rich surgeon from leaving Beverly Hills to go to Rhode Island is the show Providence. The year 2249 and the medical procedural takes place at a hospital space station is a show called Mercy Point, and the motorcycle gang one is fake. All right, now the second round, there's going to be 4 of them. A disgraced former alcoholic doctor loses his job in Houston, Texas's most prestigious hospital. He has to resort to moving to the countryside to handle steer trampling, snake bites, and more of rural Texas's toughest cases. Second one, a paranormal hospital series built on the site of an old Civil War uniform factory and quietly run by a secret society. They handle Lewiston, Maine's toughest paranormal medical cases. Third one, an entire series revolving around the cases and lives operating a Los Angeles fertility clinic. They handle Los Angeles' toughest seamen. And inspired by the fourth one, inspired by the book The Reincarnationist, a crime thriller medical procedural about a doctor who solves present-day medical and criminal mysteries by accessing the patient's past lives. They handle the past toughest cases.
That's a tongue twister of a show. Could you imagine pitching that? And everyone's just like, I think they had a stroke, like somewhere in there. Max, what are you thinking?
I'm going Lewiston, Maine and the Civil War.
Okay, what about you, Jeff?
I think right now, I think the semen one is absolutely the fertility clinic one is absolutely a show.
You don't think they handle Los Angeles' toughest semen?
Yeah,
Paging Dr. Cub, Dr. Cub.
I'm gonna say it's the third one.
Okay. A paranormal hospital series built on the site of an old Civil War uniform factory and run by a secret society. They handle Lewiston, Maine's toughest paranormal cases. Is the show Kingdom Hospital? That's real. And it was produced by both Stephen King and Lars von Trier.
See, that's where I didn't want to say it, but when you say Maine, I'm like, Stephen King absolutely had
for
a show.
Sure.
That's a nightmare blunt rotation.
Amen. Number A plus cocaine rotation. Okay. An entire series revolving around the cases and lives operating Los Angeles fertility clinic is the show Inconceivable. They had 8 episodes.
God damn it. I hate that title so much.
Inspired by the book The Reincarnationist, a crime thriller about a doctor who handles present-day medical and criminal mysteries through past lives, through accessing their patients' past lives. That is the show Past Life. The fake one is the disgraced former alcoholic doctor who loses his job.
Baby.
Wait, did you say the?
I said the third one was the fake.
You said, no,
you said the semen one. That one's real.
No, I said the third one was the fake.
Yeah, that was Dr. Cub.
Yeah, that's Dr. Cub.
Okay, cool. Then
the very first one.
I forgot, then I'm okay. And I went 1 for 2, and that's fine. Well, Rich, thank you so much for that game of the
Thank
week.
you for handling my toughest cases.
Yes. I did think, I will be honest, there's a show called Forever that is like beloved by some people. It was on CW, I think. But we'll do that, and I was fully prepared for you to talk about that in this podcast. But gentlemen, our flight is coming to a land, and as we always do, I have 2 questions for you. I think I know the answer for both of you on the first one, but based off the pilot and the pilot alone, are you visiting Patience, Colorado again, and maybe visiting the doctor and the resident alien for an episode 2? And the second question is something I haven't gotten to ask you before, which is Sci-Fi on primetime TV. It's not something that we have ever talked about before, but do you think that there is a place for some of these more odd and niche stories on primetime television? Or, hey, no, it can be on the Sci-Fi Network, and I never watch it again. So, Rich, I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to shock you a little bit here, Jeff. I would actually watch a second episode of this.
Fuck yeah, brother. Let's go.
If only because of Alan Tudyk's acting, and also where the hell are they going with this? That's kind of it's kind of like a morbid curiosity watch, I guess. Number 2, make network TV weirder. Like this is we don't need Chicago dentists. You know what I mean? This is not.
I can't wait for Chicago dentists where someone eats too much Italian beef and it gets stuck and causes a cyst.
Oh no! Oh, he got beef mouth. That's our 3rd case this week. Make network TV weirder. This has to. Every now and then we get something really bizarre, like the fact that Hannibal was on ABC. Mm-hmm. Like there's. And that's a beautiful show with a giant budget, and they got to make like Mads Mikkelsen a star here, and like that, I don't know, that felt nice. So yeah, give more chances to weird ass shit.
Max, what about you?
I think Alan Tudyk gives such a great performance in this. I was very captivated watching all of his physicality, his movement work, his speech throughout it. I do not think, though, that this is a particularly good show, and it's kind of like watching peak Mike Trout on the Angels, where it's like, man, you're watching this dude put up Hall of Fame numbers here, and they are 40 games below 500.
Oh, this is a Tungsten Arm or O'Doyle situation?
Yeah, this is like a real Tungsten Arm O'Doyle show for me, and I think it's a testament to how strong Tudyk is, what a great character actor he is, and I hope that it's an opportunity with this show being done now for him to move into more exciting live action work in the same way that like Stephen Root is getting nominated for Emmys. Like Alan Tudyk should also be taking those kinds of roles. As for your second question, yes, I would love to see more genre type shows on primetime network TV. Rich, to your point of talking about not needing more Chicago shows, it's jumped the shark so bad that there was literally FDNY Chicago on Reggie Dinkins this year. We are just parodying these extended universes of procedurals and shoot 'em ups and things like that. And I would love for a weird sci-fi show to just take a sledgehammer to the primetime network at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. For myself, Max already knows this, but I am on season 3 of this show. And what I will say is, I think the audience isn't surprised about this either, or frequent flyers aren't surprised. This pilot is a terrible representation of this show. I am going to say that first and foremost, because
where the fuck is this show going?
I'm just going to say it. This pilot is of the episodes of the show that I have watched, the worst one of all of the show, because this show leans into a lot more of being a comedy. It leans into a little bit of sci-fi, but it is much more about becoming human and learning about being a human than murder mystery in any shape or form of it. But
what about him being a doctor?
It is a small part of the show. That being said, I still highly recommend, and why would I watch 3 seasons of this show if I did not think that it got better, and it actually has some really fun performances in it in each of the seasons. And Linda Hamilton shows up, and she plays exactly who you think she would play in this show.
Jeff, you've given 3 seasons to a show I wouldn't force people I don't like to watch.
And I think it does speak to one thing, though, which is the idea of, because the show was on Sci-Fi Network, there are a lot of people who this might be their first time hearing about the show, or they might have seen the poster on a Netflix and been like, what is that? And then never clicked yes, because that is how these things work. But I highly implore people to try the pilot out, and if you like the performance from Alan Tudyk in this, then try episode 2, and maybe you'll like episode 3 as well. Okay. As far as sci-fi on TV, I think that, as we are all very aware, Emmys announcements just came out this week, and one of the most highly nominated shows was a genre show, which was Widow's Bay. And a horror-based comedy got a ton of Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
We need to take more chances on shows that are weird, and because audiences are eating them up, because we are tired of medical procedural, what I like to call first responder porn, and then there's just sports. That is all that's on TV right now, and we're so hungry for anything different. So take a chance, and I promise you will find an audience if you pick something weird, and people will maybe find out that they love something they never thought they would like. But that being said, that is our flight, gentlemen. But before we go, I want to make sure that folks can find you wherever you want to be found. So, Rich, where can folks find you?
You can find me in that place that brings your tightness down in your taint. And you can also find me on Instagram on Damn That's Rich. And you can find original sketch comedy from Max and myself over at Dadwagon Comedy on TikTok.
Max?
You can catch me ruining the touch tunes at your local bar and on all things social media at Maxwell Sing.
And you can find me beatboxing in a cop car for way too long. But if you're looking for me on Instagram, or on social media, you can find me at Run Jeff Run. You can find the TV Pilot's License anywhere you listen to podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave us reviews. It does really help us out as we continue to grow as a podcast, surprisingly, on this journey. But if you want to see our
really selling faces, it, Jeff.
Yeah, really selling it. We're the #1 podcast that you've never heard of, and I appreciate those of you who have heard of us and who share it. Or as I tell other people, a literate book club. That is our secondary name. But if you want to see our smiling faces, watch us on YouTube. We're growing there as well. If you have an in-flight question, you can go to tvpilotslicense.com, shoot us a text, or leave us a voicemail at 213-290-1713. Make sure to watch out for some of the stuff that we have coming up. But with the plane landed and the seatbelt sign off, we look forward to flying the bright skies of the TV world with you again soon. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies and your fingers on the dial.
Well, don't call that guy. I'll do the autopsy.
All right.
There's never been a better time to get outside and experience the benefits of nature. Discover nearby trails and explore the outdoors with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your outside.